Hey guys, thanks for joining us on We'll Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm taking a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called The Path of the Adventurer. This is a new game by Jugorama. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and is a fully cooperative game so all the players are working together to defeat the game itself. So in this video I'm going to take you through the first, middle, and end couple turns to show you how the game plays and progresses to help you decide whether or not you want to back this one on Kickstarter. If you're interested in just checking out the overview, I'll also have a link up in the top corner if you just want to see what the main features of the game are. So as always, if you find this video helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel, as it really does make a big difference, helps me to continue to grow and produce these videos. And if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider ringing that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. So let's head to the table and I'll show you what this one's all about. So there's a couple of things I want to go over real quick before getting into the game. So first off, all the materials you see here today are prototype materials and are subject to change and will look a lot better in the production copy of this. The second thing is that I'm not going to go through setup with this, as there's a number of different choices that the players will make. Each player is going to have 2 skill cards to start off with, and they're going to select these at the beginning of the game. So there's a lot of different choices and variety that the players can make when moving into the game as well. So from there, let's go ahead and jump on in. So we're going to start off the first turn, and each round in the game is broken into 4 phases. The first phase in the round is the event phase, where you're going to reveal the top card of the event deck and resolve any effects of it, and it'll last their entire round. During the first round of the game, you will not do this. So then the second phase is the travel phase, where your adventurers are going to choose a location that they wish to go to. Once they've made that decision, they're going to move towards that location. So let's say we're going to go towards this one. From there, then they have to choose how they want to explore that location. They can simply attack the location, or they can choose to assault the location. Once they've made that decision, then they're going to reveal the encounter card. And if they assault, then they'll attack the enemies first. They'll get 1 free round, but they're dedicated to that location. With a regular attack, once the encounter card is revealed, if it's too much for your adventurers, you can choose not to move there and simply retreat back to the village, and then you would start a new turn with the event phase. So with us, we're just going to do a regular attack. So first we're going to set up the encounter. So starting on the left and moving across, we're going to place the enemies. So we have a gnoll and then 3 goblins. So then they'll go, 2 of them will go here, and then the third one will go in the back. From there, then our adventurers will go ahead and move on in there. So let's put our Barbarian there, the Dwarf, and our Orc, and then we'll put the Archer in the back. Then we'll move into the battle phase. If this is a regular battle, we did not assault, then we will set up the initiative track. So first off, each one of our characters will roll a number of dice based on their speed value. So we'll go ahead and start with our Dwarf. He has a speed of 1, so he'll roll 1 blue die. And if he rolls the foot or the half circle or the critical, that is going to count as 1 success. So that means that he has an initiative of 1. So then we'll move on to the next character with our Barbarian. He didn't get anything. Our Elf is pretty quick, so we'll see what she gets. She got 2 criticals and a foot, so that gives her 3. And finally, our Orc got a critical for 1. So our Elf will be first. Then the Gnoll will go next. Our Barbarian and Orc tied for 1, so they're going to go. And then the Goblins, and finally our Dwarf. Okay, so then we would go ahead and start with our first round of combat. Now, during a round of combat, a character can always choose as their first part to move back 1 space on the initiative track to gain 2 fatigue back. Our characters don't have any fatigue currently, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and start off. So each character is going to have different tokens that they can spend to try to activate abilities that they have or weapons. Each weapon or ability is going to list a difficulty that they must achieve on dice in order to successfully accomplish that. So let's go ahead and start off with a bow attack, and we're going to go ahead and try to mark our target. So we're going to go after that gnoll there, and it requires us to spend a intelligence and dexterity, and we need to have a bow equipped, which we do, and it's going to require at least 1 success. So we can choose to spend more dice if we want to, but we do not have to. So let's go ahead and try a second dexterity die. Or a second intelligence die, I'm sorry. So then we're going to roll. We need at least one success to do it. And we did not get it. So then that attack fails. And we have to fatigue one of those because of for the cost. So we'll flip that over. And then we can do another attack if we want to. It's going to be kind of risky, but let's go ahead and try it. We'll spend 2 more. We'll get 2 dice. And we'll just do a basic bow attack. And we'll target the goblin in the back. And we missed again. We needed 2 of the bow symbols. So no luck there. So our elf was not feeling it today. So then we're going to go over to the knoll to attack the barbarian. So he's going to roll 3 dice, as shown on his card there. And he's a lot better. He does 2 damage to our barbarian, and he could our guy could try to dodge some of that if he wanted to. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll try to dodge a little bit of that. We'll roll those 2 there. See if we get any luck. Nope. Both were fails, so we're going to take those 2 points of damage. Then we are on to the next character. So we have our orc over here to go, and he has an axe. So he's going to go ahead and target the goblin that's in front of him. So he's going to need at least 2 successes. So let's spend a dexterity, intelligence, and 2 strength. Let's see if we can get them. We got 1 sword, and we have a critical which we can change to any symbol that we need. So we'll do another sword. So we do successfully hit him. So we'll do 2 damage to him as listed on our axe. And then we could choose to try to do another attack, but the dexterity dice do not have any of the sword symbols, so it's not really going to do us any good. So we're going to finish off there, and we'll move over to Crawl's turn here. So with him, he's going to go ahead and try to do an attack. And let's do 2 red and a green. Let's see if we can get him. We'll target the knoll. And we got that. We're successful. So we do 2 damage to him. Put that over there. And then it moves over to the goblins to go. So each goblin that's in front of our guys is going to do a melee attack. So he's only going to get 1 strength die. So against the orc, nothing. Against the dwarf, he hits. The dwarf's not going to spend anything. He'll just take the damage. And then we have our goblin in the back who is going to target Crawl. And nothing. So we got lucky there. No major damage. Then we have the dwarf to go. So he is going to go ahead and do his faith aura first. It's going to cost him 2 intelligence. And with this one, it says every adventurer receives 1 additional attribute token next round. So we'll go ahead and roll. There is no requirement on this, but we did get a critical, so we'll turn it into a special and heal a wound on an adjacent character. So then next round, everybody's going to get a additional token. So our dwarf will take another intelligence. Crawl will take an intelligence. Our elf will take another dexterity, and the orc will take another intelligence. So then our dwarf will go ahead and attack. He is going to go ahead and try to hit the knoll. Maybe he can stun him. And he'll use a blue as well. So he'll have 3 red and a blue. All right, so we get to gain one of our dice back, or one of our tokens back. So we'll just take the strength back for this effect. And then we have 2 criticals, so we'll convert those into attacks so that the attack is successful at least, and it does 2 damage. So our knoll is up to 4 points of damage. And then everybody is attacked, so at the end of the round, everybody's going to gain 7 attribute tokens back, and they can recover up to 2 fatigue tokens. So, and then we'll add that extra attribute token from his ability. So none of our guys have more than 7, so they're going to gain everything back. Our elf will get to regain her fatigue. And then it's going to move back into the top of the order with the elf player to go. So let's go ahead and start with her bow attack. Or we could try to mark... No, let's just go with the attack. So she's going to spend 2 and a dex or intelligence to try to hit... Let's go after the goblin in the back. Let's go after the gnoll. We need to get rid of him. And we get to reroll 1 from the box. And it's a success. So we get 2 damage on him. That'll defeat him, so we'll remove him. And the goblin will move up. From there, let's go ahead and do another attack. Same thing. And we'll go after the goblin here. And 2 more successes. So the goblin has 2 damage on him. Very successful round for our elf. So then we are on to the gnoll has been defeated, so we'll take that off. These guys will slide over. And it'll be the orc's turn next. So our orc is going to go after the goblin that's in front of him. He'll spend 2 and 1. And 1 of those. Alright, so we've got a critical we can change over to a success. Unfortunately, that's all we got. So, nothing there. And then he's going to go ahead. He'll try one more time with that combination. And still nothing. Our orc's just not feeling it today. Alright, so we are on to Crawl to go next. So with him, he'll go ahead and do a sword attack. He's going to spend 2, 1 and 1. We'll see what happens. We got 1 success and a critical, which we can change to any result. So we'll go ahead and change it to a second success and hit the goblin that's in front of us. And we'll go ahead and do it again. All right, there's 1. We got 1 here. We'll go ahead and spin this to reroll. And same result. And then we'll spend this to recover 1 of our intelligence. All right, so then we'll do the 2 damage. That'll defeat this goblin here. Then we are on to the Goblins Turn. So we got 1 against the orc. And it's the dwarf. So orc and takes a damage. And then it'll be over to our dwarf to take his turn. So he's going to go ahead and spend 2 red, a green, and a blue to attack. And we'll go after the guy in front of us. Okay, so we're unsuccessful, but we did get a critical, so we can change this to any result we want. So let's switch it over to that and recover a token. So we'll recover a strength token. Then we'll go ahead and do our Faith Aura again. So we'll get 2 greens for that. And nothing, we can heal an adjacent ally, so go ahead and heal our Barbarian. And then let's try that attack one more time with just the 2 red. Probably not going to get lucky, but never know. Yep, there it is. All right, so 2 successes, and we'll drop our goblin here. All right, then we recover our tokens again, and we will gain that additional token from the aura. So everybody's just going to gain their token back that they had. So she just needs 1 successful attack, so she's going to go ahead and spend 3 blue and a green. And she got it, so the goblin is down. And we will receive 200 gold for that. And then the final step in the turn, we'll discard this. And since we defeated our enemies in that location, we can choose one of the two and gain a legendary item from that. So let's go with the Celestial. So it's a random choose. There's one weapon, one armor, and one item in each set. So let's go with this one. Whoa, so we got a runic crossbow. Really nice. It's a little heavy requirements. It needs 2 bows and a sword, but it's going to do 8 damage. So it's almost going to drop everybody on a single shot. So really nice. And obviously we're going to give that to our elf, who will have to discard the bow. Then we get to move into the market phase. So we'll go ahead and move our guys back. And we do put out new locations that are adjacent to that now, since we've defeated it. Okay, so from there, then we have 200 gold we can use to buy different items. Let's go ahead and spend 100 to get a new sword for our Barbarian. And then we put out a new item. We got another longbow. And do we want to spend anything else? Let's just hold on to the other 100 gold for now. So at this point, we will go ahead and start a new round. I am going to go ahead and take a turn off camera, but I do want to cover what we're actually looking for with this. So our goal is to go through and defeat a location 3 times, and we have to find each of those locations. So now that we've defeated this one, we cannot go there and attack it again. It'll be we have to look for new locations for those. And each time we attack that location, it's going to get harder. So the next time we go up against the temple, it's going to also have a mini boss that we'll have to fight. And then when we fight it the 3rd time, then we find and we'll be attacking the Dark Lord, which will be randomized as well. If we're able to defeat the Dark Lord, then we have won the game. So we're ready to move back in. Our heroes went ahead and defeated that location up there, and our orc was able to pull some chaos armor that we gave him. So at this point, then we're ready to continue on, and we have to make a decision on which path we want to go. We could push up and try to face off against the mini boss in that location if we wanted to, or we can go to a different location and try to get some more equipment. So let's go ahead and head down here. This is a fairly open location that gives us plenty of options for our characters to fight in that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll move on down here for this one, and let's try an assault and see how that works. So we'll go ahead and move on in there, and we'll reveal the enemies and see what we have. So we'll do that, and we have to reveal a new encounter card too. So with this one, it says place an encounter card on each location of the map that hasn't been explored yet. I went ahead and did that already, so we don't have to worry about that. So then we have 2 gnolls that'll go out, and 3 goblins. And then with the assault, we'll go ahead and each get a free round of combat. So let's start off with our archer. Well, let's just work our way down. So our dwarf will be first. He's got... Let's go ahead and just do a full-on barrage with him. He'll do 3 there and 2 onto that gnoll there. Hopefully we'll get to stun him. Alright, so we've got the 2 swords we need, and we did roll the stun as well, so we're good there. And there's no point in really re-rolling anything. So we'll go ahead and do that. So 2 damage to the gnoll in the front there, and he's stunned, so he will not be able to attack next round. Alright, that's all our dwarf can do. So moving over to our fighter here, he's going to go ahead and attack this gnoll over here. He'll spend 3 and a blue. Yeah, let's try that. So 3 and a blue. And hopefully I'll get lucky here. Alright, so he got his 2 hits that he needed. And there's nothing the critical's going to do to help out with anything else. So he's going to do 4 damage to that gnoll at the end there. And he'll take 1 more swing with the set and see if we get really lucky. This would be a pretty impressive roll. And he'll go ahead and target that one again. See if he can finish him off here. And he did not. Well, let's see. No, there's nothing we can do that's going to make that one what we need. So that one failed. And so then we're on to our next character. So our elf will go ahead and spend 3 blues, a green, and a red. Try her crossbow. And she'll target the null and the N there that hasn't been defeated yet. Okay, so we have failed. We got this, which we could change to a sword, but we need a second bow, and we did not get that. And so she has one of each left. That would be a really impressive roll. She'll go ahead and try it anyways. Why not? Let's give it a go. And no luck. All right. So then we are on to our orc to go, and he's on the end there, so he's going to go after a couple of goblins. We'll spend 2 blue, a green, and 2 red for the first one, and we'll target the one that's right in front of him. Let's see what we get here. We'll use the axe. And didn't get anything we needed. So then we're on to the next one. We'll try it again with a blue and 2 red. We got it this time. We got the 2 hits we needed, so we'll do 2 damage to one of the goblins. Do the one that's right in front of him. All right, so not too bad. Could have been a little better, but not too bad. So then we would go into the initiative step. So we'll go ahead and start by rolling for our dwarf. And we do get to 2 of these will get fatigued for that assault of each player's choice. All right, so our dwarf, nothing, so he's a 0. The barbarian got 1, and our archer, 2, and finally the orc has got just 1. So our elf will be first, then the gnolls, dwarf will be last, and then we have the barbarian, orc, and goblin. All right, so we'll move into it with our elf first. So again, she'll take those, see if she has better luck, and she's going to target the one that's on the end there, try to finish him off. All right, she got her 2 there, and she gets to re-roll a die, so we'll re-roll a red. And we got it. So there's a success, and then she can recoup 1, but she doesn't have any dice left to recoup, so that will finish her off, but that will also finish that guy off. All right, so then we are on to the gnolls, who the one is stunned, so he is just going to remove that stunned effect, and then it'll move on to the orc. So our orc is going to go ahead and do 2 red and a green, and he'll target the goblin in front of him. And he got the 2 swords he needed, so that goblin is going to be finished off as well. He will attack again with the 2 reds and see if he gets lucky. Yeah. And he did. There's another successful hit, so 2 more damage on the goblin over here. This one actually is supposed to slide up. Then we're over to the barbarian, so he's going to go ahead and do the 2 red and a green. And he did not get it, so he'll try just the 2 red. And no luck again. All right, so then we're on to the goblins. So we have 1 against him. It's a miss, and the 1 goblin against the dwarf is a hit. So the dwarf will take another wound. Then we move on to the dwarf to go. and he'll do an attack against the Knoll again and use those 3. So we need another green. All right, there it is. We got a successful hit. So the Knoll takes 2 more damage. We did not defeat him though, so he's gonna potentially hit us next turn if we don't get him. So then we'll recover again. So we get our 2 fatigue back that we used last round, or used that first round. All right, so she's gonna go ahead and she'll go all 4. Try to finish off this guy. And a red and a green. All right, so she got the sword she needed. She has 2 criticals. Those will convert to the hits that she needs successfully, and then she can recover 1. So she'll recover a blue. So that'll finish off the second Knoll. So he won't get to attack. And she doesn't really have enough left to attack a second time. She could do that one though. So let's go ahead and do that. This is we'll go ahead and try to mark that goblin over there. She needs a green and a blue. And she needs to get at least 1 arrow. So we got 2. She got it. All right, so she does 50% damage, which is still enough to kill the goblin, since it only has 3 hit points. And she does have to fatigue 1 die, or 1 attribute token. That's all she has, so she'll end her turn there, and we're over to the orc, who is going to do an attack. He'll spend his 4 to give that a good hit on that goblin and try to finish him off. And he failed. Wow. No luck. Our orc is just not having a good day today. All right, so then we're over to our crawl here, and he's going to do the same thing. Why not? He'll go 4 dice on the goblin. He misses too. Wow. Just the way it goes. So the dwarf and the goblin on the dwarf, no hit. So our dwarf will be the last to go. As much as I would love to just do the 3 reds again, it is not working. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 reds and 2 green. There's 1, and we get to reroll 1 die. So we'll go ahead and reroll that. And we still didn't get it. So that goblin is nimble. He is getting around our heroes. No luck there. All right, so again, at the end of the round, our heroes will regain all of their tokens, up to 7 that they've spent. And we will start a new round with our elf. So she's going to go ahead and she's going to do that fatigue thing again, or the marking. So she's just going to need, she'll spend 2 greens and a blue. Let's see if we can get this. Well, no, let's spend 2 blue. Why not? And there it is. She just needed 1 success. So she was able to finish him off. All right, so at that point, then we would move into, we get to choose one of the 2 categories to get. So let's do the Celestial and see what we get there. So let's take this one. Ooh, we got a Celestial Hammer. Wow, this is nice. It's going to require a lot to be successful. You need 3 swords, but it does 6 damage. Nice. So yeah, let's give it to the dwarf, because why not? He likes hammers. All right, so then we will get 250. So we'll just give him 300 because we have 50 remaining here from our last time. And we get to go to the market. So we'll go back here and go to the market. Let's get that strength amulet. So that'll be 150. And this will give the owner an additional strength. So we'll give that to the dwarf. Now that he has that Celestial Hammer, he's going to need an extra. And we'll put out a new card. So this is a healing potion. Oh, we forgot to heal too. We get to heal half of our wounds rounded up, so our dwarf will regain that. And then why don't we buy that, because that is a good option. So we'll give that to the elf. She can pop that on somebody as needed. And then we have light armor. I think we're going to hold on to the rest of our gold for now, because we don't really need anything else that's out there currently. So at this point, then we would go ahead and start a new round. So I'm going to take another round off camera, and then we'll come back. So we had another successful round. We were able to defeat this mountain pass, and the bonus with that one is you do not get a legendary item, but you get to choose the location, the next location that's next to it. So we went ahead and put the temple next to it, as we definitely want to work on a mini boss at this point. So the other thing I forgot to cover is when you defeat a location, you also get a new skill card. So I went ahead and modified that, as I forgot to do that the first couple rounds that we were in. So from here, then, we are ready to move on to our turn. So let's go ahead and start by drawing a new event card. And we have place an additional goblin in each location with enemies. So currently we don't have any locations that have enemies, but we will have one when we go to fight this mini boss here. So then let's go ahead and move on in. We're going to go ahead and go here. And let's just do a regular battle. So then we'll flip over the card. So we have 2 and 2, and then we also get a mini boss. So there are 4 different ones that we might end up encountering. So let's go ahead and mix them up and find out who we get. All right, so we have the Dark Elf. And the enemies are going to add a dexterity to their attacks. So that's not good. All right, and he's got 16 hit points, and he has a speed of 3, so he's going to be attacking fairly quick. All right, so then we'll put him out, and we got 2 of the gnolls and 3 goblins because of our event. So we'll have 3 goblins in the back rank, and each one of those little buggers is going to be shooting 3 this time because of our Dark Elf. So then let's we'll put him up against the Barbarian. Again, we'll have our heroes set up like that. And then we'll roll for initiative. So let's clear the board real quick from last round. And then we do get the Dark Elf, who has 3. So the only one that's going to be able to beat him at this point is the other elf. So let's see what she gets. She got 3 as well. So she's going to go first before him. And then he'll go after that. Then we have the orc, who got just 1. Crawl is going to get 1 as well. So we've got Crawl and the orc at 1. So the gnoll will be next. And then those 2. And then let's see if our dwarf is able to... Nope. The dwarf will be dead last. All right. So then we're ready to move into the round. Our elf will start out. And let's see how we want to do this. She could put some pretty good hurting on him right off the bat with her crossbow. So, yeah, I think we need to do that. So, we'll go ahead and spend all 4 on that, and we'll throw 2 reds and a green on him as well, to really see if we can do some damage, because we don't want to have him just holding on there for a while. All right, we got our hits that we needed. We got a critical, so we can change a result. So let's go ahead and change it to getting a attribute back. So we'll gain a blue back from that. And the other 2 are just going to be wasted. So we're going to do 8 points of damage to him. So he's half dead already, so that's good. And we don't really have enough to do... Well, we do. We can do her marking. That's going to do 50% damage. So that'd be 4 points of damage to an enemy. So let's go after one of the goblins in the back there. Try to knock one of them out as well. So we'll target the one that's behind the Dark Elf. And she missed. Oh well. All right. So that is it for her. Then we move on to the Dark Elf's turn. He's going to target Crawl there, and he's going to roll 2 reds. And he gets a hit. So we'll take a damage there. Oh, forgot to clear these from last time. All right. So then it'll move over to the Gnolls to go. So we have 2 of them. Against the Dwarf first, he does 2 damage. And against our Orc, he does 1 damage. And the Orc could try to block it with his armor, but he's not going to. That's not too bad. So then we're on to our Orc to go next. So he's going to go ahead and attack. I think he'll just do a... Well, let's try a surprise attack first. So it's going to require at least 2. And let's go ahead and throw those 2 on there as well. So that'll be 2, 1, and 1. And he'll go against the Gnoll that's in front of him. And we get an attribute die back. So we'll take one of the reds back. We got a critical that can change it to another result, so we could get a sword from that, but we did not get any swords on our red dice, so not going to do us any good, so that attack fails, and we're going to have 3 fatigue from that. And then I guess let's just try a regular attack, so we'll spend our other set there, so we got 3 reds and 2 blue. And nothing there either. I mean, we can do a push to switch places with them, and then we can regain a die back. So we'll do that to get a red back. And we could switch places with them. So that'll help a little bit, I guess. And that'll finish him off. So then we're over to Crawl to go, and he's going to go ahead and... which would do 200% damage. That would finish off the Dark Elf if he could get it, but he'd need 3 swords. Oof. It might be worth it, so let's go ahead and give it a try. Why not? So we'll do 4, 1, let's go all in, see what we get here. So we got 4, 1, and 4 reds. Come on, Crawl. Let's see what we got here. Doesn't look good. So we've got 1 reroll from the green. We've got 1 success that we needed, but unfortunately we're going to need 3 successes, so even with the reroll, that would give us a critical. That gives us 2, but there's no way to get a 3rd one at this point, so we have failed that attack. Alright, so, and that's going to cost us 3 fatigue, so we'll do that. And then we're over to the Goblins to go, so we have Goblin 1 against the Crawl, and they've got 1 hit, so they'll take a wound there. And then the second Goblin against the Dwarf, 3 hits. Oof. So Crawl is going. He doesn't have the things to do it, so the Dwarf is going to be up to 5 wounds. And then we have the Goblin in front who's going to attack the Orc. No luck. So that's that. And then we're over to the Dwarf. So he has some healing. He could heal some wounds. So let's do the Faith Aura and see what we get there. We got 1, so we'll heal a wound on an adjacent person. And then let's just try it, go all in, and see if we get lucky with our hammer. So I'll go ahead and target the Gnoll that's in front of us, or in front of our Dwarf. And not enough. We needed 3 successes. We only got 2, so no luck there. Alright, so that will finish off his turn. Now he does give everybody an attribute token of their choice. So the elf will take a dexterity. We'll give our warrior, or our Crawl there, a green, and the other 2 will take greens as well. So that is everybody. So we'll gain 7 tokens back. He does fatigue 2, but then he'll get those right back. All right, so then we're back to the top of the order with our elf. She's going to go after the dark elf again. That was pretty successful. We can try to finish him off here if we're lucky. So let's just go all in. Why not? Try to finish him off. That way then he is out of the way. So we've got all of our dice. And we've got the sword that we need. We've got 1 bow. We have a critical for the second bow. So we've got what we need for the attack, and then we've got 2 that we get back. So we'll take a green and a blue back. Maybe we can use it for that other attack. So that'll finish off the dark elf. So he has been defeated, as that is all of his hit points. And our archer will move up, and then she's going to go ahead and take that second attack. She'll do the marking, and she just needs 1 bow on those 2 dice, and she's targeting that guy back there, and she got the critical that she needed, so he is gone. All right, and then she has to exhaust the token, and so then we are on to the gnolls. So our first one on the dwarf, who's gotten hammered pretty rough here already. So he takes 2 more, so he is almost dead. And then we've got the second one back here that cannot do anything at the moment. So then we are over to the orc. He'll do a surprise attack on this guy here, so it's going to cost him 2. And he'll go ahead and he'll spend all of them, and he'll go with a green and a blue. So we got 4 red, green and blue. All right, we got 2 crits, so we can change those over to swords. And a lot of other stuff that doesn't really help us. So we're going to do enough damage to wipe out that guy in 1 hit. And our guy will move over then. And that'll take care of that. So pretty much that's all he can do. So he's going to just hold off on anything else. Then we're over to our Barbarian to go. So he is going to... He'll go ahead and attack using... Let's go ahead and do that. So 2 reds, a green, and a blue. And he'll target the gnoll. Oh, that was a critical. I don't think that really helps us at all because we didn't get any successes. So even with the reroll, that's not going to do us any good. So we'll go ahead and try it one more time without the blue. And no luck again, man. All right, so 1, but it doesn't do us any good. So he is gone. So then we're over to the archers. We got 1 that'll target Crawl, so he takes a wound, and 1 on the orc, who also takes a wound. All right, then we're over to the dwarf last. So he's going to go ahead and do the aura again to keep that going. And doesn't get any bonuses from it, but it is in effect. And then he's going to go all in again. 4, 1, and 1. And see if he can take that gnoll out. And we got it this time. We've got the 3 crits. We got a reroll on something. Not that there's nothing that really is going to help us at the moment, so let's just do that. And that'll finish him off as the hammer does 6 points of damage. All right, then we are on to the beginning of the round again. So everybody gains 7 tokens back. So there's... All right, so then we are back in with our elf. So she's going to go ahead and take some shots. Let's go ahead and do marking. So 2 on the goblin over here. And a critical, which we turned into a bow, so she's got him. And she'll try it again. On the other one, she got a critical, which again will be the bow to finish him off. All right. So then these would be fatigued, but that's the end of combat. So everybody regains half of their health, rounded up. So 7, he gets 4 back. So he's at 3 now, so not too bad. And then our characters will gain another thing. So let's do a second Celestial. Let's take this one. We got a Celestial Ring. So we gain 1 marker. Gain 1 marker of an attribute of your choice. You can choose a different one each round, so that's pretty nice. And let's give it to our Barbarian. So then we would gain a new skill each, and we're back to town for the market phase. And we also get golds. We get 200 golds. Now, there are going to be more options in the base game. So, I mean, as some of you guys are noticing, like I'm running out of options to buy and my deck's running pretty low. But there will be more options in the base game, so you'll have more options to spend that stuff on. All right, so at this point, I'll go ahead and take a turn off camera, and we'll come back and maybe get ready to fight the Dark Lord and see what happens there. All right, so this is it. I went ahead and finished off the other mountain pass so that we were able to choose the location we wanted to go to, and I chose the temple that we're going to face our final battle in and find out which Dark Lord we're going to go up against here. So again, first we'll go ahead and rotate that location so that our heroes and enemies will be orientated, and then we'll draw a random boss, which we have the Spectre. With this one, he's going to add an additional strength to each of the enemies for their attacks, so he's going to make them even more powerful. Then we'll reveal the encounter card, and we have a Gnoll and 5 Goblins. So we'll put the Spectre out first, and then the Gnoll, and then we have 5 Goblins. All right, then we'll determine our initiative. So let's go ahead and start with our dwarf over there. He's got 1. He got it, so he has 1 point. So he'll go before the goblins. At least we'll know that. Our elf has 4. She got 2 successes. So let's see what our orc gets. He also got 2, so it'll be our elf and orc. Then we'll go with the Spectre and the Gnolls. And let's see what our Barbarian gets. He got 1, so then it'll be him and the Dwarf, and then the Goblins last. All right, so then we'll move on into it with our Elf first. So she's going to go ahead and start off by using Marking. And she's going to spend 1 and 2, and she's going to target the Spectre to mark him. So hopefully she'll be successful in this. We'll find out. She got a crit, so that's all she needed. And she gains 1 of the die back, so she'll gain the green one back for that. And so she has marked him, and she did 4 damage. So we have started to do some damage. Then she's going to go ahead and take a shot with her marksman skill. So first it's going to fatigue 1, and this one's going to require 1 intelligence and 2 dex, and we'll use another intelligence. With this, it's going to require us to get to 2 arrows, and if we do 200% if the enemy is marked. So it'll do 16 points of damage if we can get it. So let's see what happens here. And a reroll. And a crit. So we got it. Nice. Awesome. All right. So that'll do 16 points of damage to him. 16. And that'll put us up to 20 points already. So he's a little over half dead at this point. He's got 12 points left. And that's all she can do. So that'll end her turn. And both the marksman and the fatigue, or the marking, required fatigue, so that's 3 there. All right, then we're on to the orc to go next, and he's got a big sword he could hammer with. So let's go ahead and target the Gnoll there, and he's going to go ahead and do a surprise attack and try to finish him off quick. So it's going to require 2, and he'll go ahead and spend those and 1 more. So he'll get 3 reds, a green, and a blue. And he needs 2 swords out of that. There's the 2 swords that he needed. He got more than he needed. And he got another crit, so we'll do a reroll. and a crit there, so then we'll gain a token back, and we'll add a red back to his area. Alright, so then that is going to do more than enough damage to finish that guy off. So then the goblin will move forward. And that's pretty much all he can do at the moment. So it's going to fatigue 3. And then we'll move over to the Spectre to go. So he's going to attack the dwarf. And he does 3 damage to him. They don't call him the Dark Lord for nothing. He's not messing around. He's going to do some damage. Alright, so then we're on to the Gnoll has been defeated. The only one we had out there, so it'll be Crawl next to go, and his ring lets him gain a token. So let's go ahead and get him an intelligence. And then he's going to go ahead and let's do Tornado. So this is going to require 2 Dex and 2 Strength, and we'll go ahead and use 1 more for that. And we're going to need quite a bit for this, so let's go all in. So we need 2, 2, and 3. And we'll see what we get here. Alright, so we gain a token back. Unfortunately, we did not get what we needed to, but it's still going to fatigue 4 tokens worth, so no luck there. All right, so then we're over to our dwarf to go next. We'll go ahead and swing at the Spectre with our hammer, and let's go ahead and try to do the Righteous Fury. So it's going we'll spend 3 and 1 and 1. These. All right, so we got a sword and a crit, so we'll go ahead and move that to the other sword. And we get to heal an adjacent wound, but nobody else has taken a wound yet. So let's go ahead and gain this. We'll use to gain this back, since we don't need it. And that'll be a successful hit. It doesn't stun him, which I was kind of hoping for, but that's all right. It does 6 points of damage, so that puts him up to 26 damage now. And then we'll go ahead and spend the 2 to do the Faith Aura and see if we get anything out of that. Nope. All right, so then everybody gets an attribute token, so we'll go ahead and do, and then we'll have the goblins to go. So we have the 2 goblins in front, 1 against the orc, and they get 2 now because of the Spectre's ability. So orc takes 1 against Crawl, he takes 1. And then we have the orcs in the back, or the goblins in the back, I'm sorry. So 1 against the dwarf. Oh, I think it's just 2. Yep, just 2. So let's try this again. So nothing against Crawl. He gets nothing and nothing there. All right, so then we are on to the refresh. So we got, and then we're ready to start a new round. So our elves first, and let's go ahead and we'll try the marksman again. Why not? He's marked. Might as well try to finish him off here. That's another 16 points. That will be more than enough to do it. So she's going to spend 3 and 1. Let's go 1 more. So she needs all that. She needs 2 arrows. She's got 1, and she gains a token back. She'll gain that one back, and she failed. No luck there, so no easy out. So she has enough to do the marking again, which she could finish off a goblin with, so let's go ahead and do that. And we got a crit, so it'll turn to a bow and finish off a goblin. All right, so that is her turn. It did fatigue another token, so then we're on to the orc. So he'll go ahead and do a basic attack. He'll spend 4 and a green, and he'll target one of the goblins in front of him. And he got what he needed, so that is 1 dead gobbo. Then we'll move over to the Spectre to go, so he's going to attack the Dwarf again. And only 1 damage this time, so Dwarf lucked out a little bit. He's up to 5. And then we'll move over to our Barbarian to go. So he's going to target, he'll do that Tornado again and see if he gets lucky this time. He needs the 4 and 2. Oh, he doesn't have enough, so can't do that. Well, he does have the Celestial token, so, or the ring, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll gain that instead. So we'll spend the 4 and 2 and a green. So 4, 2, and green. And we need to have a bow and 2 swords. He is not feeling it today, so all specials. He can heal, and that's about it. So he fatigues 4 more. That's going to hurt, because then he won't be able to do much. But that's the risk we took, so that'll take care of him. And then the Dwarf is our last one to go. So the Dwarf's going to try to stun the Spectre again so that he doesn't attack him. And he'll spend 1 blue and 2 green. So 2 green and a blue and 4 reds. Alright, so we've got 2. There's our 3 that we needed. And we got the stun this time, so that's good. So we're going to do 6 damage to him. And that actually finishes him off. That's exactly what we needed to do. So we didn't need to worry about stunning him at all. So the Spectre is done. So then we just have the Goblins to go that we need to take care of. And that is it for the Dwarf. He did get 1 token back. So let's gain that other green. And then we'll spend it right away with that one to do the aura to keep that going. And then the Goblins will go. So each Goblin will get a red die this time. Against the Orc is a hit. Against Crawl is a hit. And nothing on our Dwarf. Yeah, we gave him a push, but there's nobody behind him. So, alright, so then we're back into it. So we'll gain our tokens back. Alright, so then it is back over to our elf to go. So she's just going to do marking for 2. And she'll target the one in front of the Dwarf. She got him. And crit turns to a bow. So, boom. He's toast. She fatigues 1. And she'll try it again with the second one on that guy. No luck this time. She does get a token back, so she'll take that one back. Fatigue that one. That is it for her, so then we're over to the Orc to go. And he'll just go ahead and spend 4 and 1 to try to take out one of those guys. There's 1, 2, 3. That's what he needed, so another one down. And then we're over to our Crawl. He's going to go ahead and go all in as well with those. He just needs 2. And he got it. There it is. There's 1 and the crit for 2. So that'll finish off that guy. And that's the game. We were able to clear that encounter and defeat the Dark Lord. Well, I hope that gave you guys a good idea about how this game plays and helps you decide whether or not you want to back this title. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure they would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do appreciate it, and I take into account everything you guys say to make the best possible videos. And if you found this video helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button and subscribing to the channel, as it really does make a big difference, helps me to continue to grow and produce these videos. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.